Good morning. You join me here in my local syndicate. I'm Ricky Mcgee, and this is my main man. Come here, Harry, say hello. This is my time bandit. This is Harry. He's with me most sessions. Pain in the bum, by the way. Let's talk a bit about Nutrabaits and why I went across onto Nutrabaits. Basically, my last syndicate I were on, I was struggling. And not just struggling, I was really struggling. I thought, what's going on? And there were one lad in particular, no names mentioned, but he were catching regular. And I thought, you could just see the fish going to him. I thought, what's going on here? I know I wasn't doing something right because I was blanking. We don't like blanking, do we? So this one particular day I packed up and I thought, I'm gonna go and have a word with him because there's no harm in that. If you don't ask, you never get. So I went round to him. I knew this guy was a bit of a miserable bugger. So I went round to him and I said, all right, pal, how you doing? He said, all right, Ricky, how you doing, mate? I went, yeah. I said, if you don't mind me asking, I says, but what bait are you on? And he looked at me. He says, why? I says, because I see you catching all these fish and I'm just struggling. I says, not just me struggling. I says, a lot of people are struggling on here. He says, he went like that to me, he went, that, mate, Trigga. I went, Nutrabaits Trigga? He went, yeah. I went, oh my God. I went, thanks for that. He went, he says, give it a go. He says, you never know, do you? He says, give it a go. So as soon as I got home that day, packed all the stuff away, got on the phone, ordered some Trigga, some liquid. I ordered the 15s and the 18s and I ordered some pellets because I like to have a mixture with my fishing. So I waited and I thought it's not going to come in time for my next trip. And I'm like, come on. And it did, it come in time. So I got home from work, got the bucket out, got it all in the bucket, got the liquid on it, got it all mixed up. Next day, got it all packed up, got it in the car, set off, got on the syndicate, got set up, got on this swim, got the marker rod out like you do, boom, 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 boom. Found a good spot, got the bait on it. Thought, yeah, you know, you try something different. You've got all the confidence in the world, haven't you? So I thought, yes. So I'm sat there after getting everything out, sat there, makes a cup of tea. Harry's in the bivvy on the phone. Next thing, boom, rod were off. Wow, hits it. That would have 31. Thought, wow, come on. Gets the rod back on the spot again. Sits back down, finishes my cup of tea off. Couple of hours later, same thing again. Same rod would off. Boom, hit it again. That would have 33 common. Thought, yes, here we go. We're on to something new here. So that session ended. I had a 25 and a high double. Gets home, gets on the phone, ordered some more bait. I thought, it's definitely the bait. Gets the bait, does the same thing again, gets back to the lake. I managed to get in the same swim, so I knew where I was fishing. This time, I got 2 spots going, not just the one spot. And I think I had 8 fish that trip. Not all big fish. I think I ended up with 130, but they were on the bait. So gets back home, gets some more bait ordered, gets back the following week, boom, gets in the same swim again. I thought, wow, gets on the spot. This trip, it was quiet at first. The second day came, second morning, the mist were on the lake. It just looked really carpy. Bobbin just went. I thought, I looked at it because there were didn't take any line, just the bobbin clicked off because I fished mine tight. So I went down and just picked the rod up. Wow. After about 10-minute battle, landed it. One of the sought after fish. It was a 46 leather. I thought, wow. Did all the glory shots, put it back. Puts that rod back on the spot. Sits down, makes a brew. 2 hours after, the same thing again. Just the bobbin came off the line and it just not taking any line. So it picked the bait up and just shaking its head. Clever, these fish, aren't they? So I went down, picked it up, boom, 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 boom. And this were a right good battle, this was. I lands it, and that were at 42.6, no, 42.8 common. Thought, wow, here we are. These fish are definitely on this bait. They like this trigger. So this went on for 6 weeks on my spring campaign, and then the last session was the last session I was doing on that syndicate, because I'd moved on and got onto a new syndicate. The first 2 days, nothing. I thought the conditions were perfect. So I thought, oh no. So I just sat on my hands and just waited. The third morning, same thing. Bobbing just come off. So I thought, that's another big fish, is that? So I went down, hits it, right good battle. Then by this time, the fish had weeded me up 3 or 4 times. I ended up shouting one of the lads on the other side of the bank to come over, because all the line was covered with silkweed and it had got all tangled up in the rings. So I couldn't, it was just jammed, so I couldn't do anything. So the lad come round and I'm running right as far back of the bank as I could. So we ended up putting the rod down. I jumps in the water, he jumps in the water, he's got the landing net, and I'm handballing it like that. And I managed to land the fish, and it were only the queen of the lake at 54.8. Wow, bingo. On the last session, the queen of the lake. Just like all my dreams came true just by changing over and trying something different. If it worked for me, it can work for anybody. It's just a matter of having a little bit of confidence and a good bait. So I'm finished with that syndicate now. 6 weeks had gone by. The new syndicate had opened because they're closed for spawning. Gets on the new water. Same sort of approach. Find the spots. But on this new water, you can use a boat just for baiting up. So I thought, yeah, that suits me. It's nice and easier fishing. So I goes out, find the spots, goes out in the boat, puts the bait out. And then I get the spawn rod out then and just keep topping it up every so often, get the throwing stick out, putting the solubles out with the throwing stick, and then just basically from there. And there I am now. Today I'm blanking, but I've still got 2 days ahead. I feel confident. I've just got to sit on my hands and wait for the fish to turn up. As you can see, it's a lovely day, and for the last 4 to 5 weeks we've had nothing but rain. So let's hope the change in the weather might just bring the fish on today. Let's just hope and see. Like I said before, how I approach my bait is basically a bucket, the 18 mils, the 15 mils, and the pellets. I just pour them all in the bucket. If they're in, I get 5 kilo bags, these are 1 kilo bags. I just pour them in, and then I drape that over them. And I use, I would say on a bucket that size, I use about 3 of them. But I don't put it all in at one go. Pour one in and leave it an hour or so, shake it up. Then I pour another one in, do the same thing, then same thing again. Then you get bored and sick of waiting around. But it just helps for the soaking in. And then what I do with the solubles, how I approach them, I don't put them in the bait bucket. They go out with a throwing stick only. And here we go. What else I do with the solubles, I put them in little bags like that, little stockings, just 2. The reason I only use 2 is so I can get them out with a cast and they'll go as far as I want to go. And then I just clip them on to my rig. And this is the one what I've just made earlier, just thought I'd show you as it was soaked. I'm just using a slip D, nothing special. Little trigger pop up on 15 mil. And basically, when the solubles go down and the melt in the water, basically, I'm just left with that attraction and the pop up. So when they do pick it up, they're just picking the one bait up. And the reason I do that is because when I've got the throwing stick and I'm throwing them out, they're just picking singles up out there. Now to me, if I put a bag on with 5 or 6 boilers in, there's a big clump there, isn't there? So my approach is, when I put loads of bait in, I don't fish on the bait, I fish off it. At the side of it, I put one on the left, one on the right, and one in front. So when the bigger fish come and pick off the sides. And that's why I do that approach. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's mine. That's the way I fish. Give it a try, you know. You might pick the big ones up yourself that way. It works for me. I can't see why it won't work for anybody else. Just something simple as that. By itself, just on the edge of the big baited spot, it just works every time. And when I say it works every time, the catch rate proves it. So I must be doing something right. So give it a try, you just never know. Now I'm going to show you how I do the mix. I know you've seen this done plenty of times before in the past, but I'm going to show you how I do mine. Right, because I don't have a freezer at home, I have to get the shelf life. So first I'm starting up with the 15mm, just emptying it in. Then I get the 18mm shelf life again, mix them in. Then I get the 8mm trigger pellets, because these break down really slow. This is what's giving you traction, because it soaks all the liquid in. So these are the key. So I'm putting them in. Just giving it a little stir. This is the one. This is the attractor. The liquid. It smells, but the fish love it. I'll just pour it in all over. What I usually do is put a bit of water in there, shake it up and get every bit out of it, because it's what you need. And then I just stir it all up. See, I wouldn't put that in now. I'd leave that a few hours for the pellets to soak up all the liquid and the boilers soak up as much as they can. And there you go, ready to go.